I love the time I have to spend here at Pemberley. It always makes me so aware of my family history. It was raining outside today, so I spent most of my time amusing myself in the library. It truly is a work of many generations. While there, I found a journal which is over 100 years old. It is inscribed Jane Darcy, who was the sister of my many times over great-grandfather William. If I remember right, she was supposed to be quite charming and also a bit mischievous. I can hardly wait to see what she was up to. Now, where did I put her journal? Oh, yes, here it is. August 20th. Who knew when I started out this morning all of the adventures that lay in my path? The last 2 weeks in London have been quite hectic, with Mother and I going to all our favorite dressmakers. The fashions this year are très jolies. Father has been very busy as always with meetings, but still found time to take us out in the evening. Father's business will detain him a while longer, so Aunt Catherine and I decided to return early to Pemberley. The carriage was brought round early, and our trip yesterday was uneventful. Aunt Catherine, as always, dozed most of the trip, but her companion, Miss Allen, was as delightful as ever. We were up early and on the road to be sure of reaching Pemberley today. Miss Allen placed her keepsake locket in the hidden compartment of the carriage for safe keeping. That was the only thing we had of any significant value on this trip. The evening was coming on and...
What's happening? Have the horses gone mad? Or is it the driver?
I think it is something rather more serious. We should try to remain calm and hope for the best.
Whoa! Attends, make no moves sudden, and no one has to die. N'est-ce pas? Monsieur Coachman, throw down your valuables.
Mon Dieu! Highwaymen!
In the coach, fill this bag with your jewels.
We are not traveling with anything of particular value.
Oh, mais no, mademoiselle. There is the box. You will open the box maintenant, s'il vous plaît.
Which box do you mean?
Do not test my patience. I know of the concealed box in your coach. You will open it maintenant and hand over the contents.
You will not get away with this. It would be better for you to leave and take nothing.
I will get away with whatever I please, mademoiselle, including this treasure. Allons, we have what we came for.
Those ruffians! What is our country coming to?
It was all I had left for my family.
Now, Miss Allen, things will look better in the morning. James, get us home as quickly as possible. I can't imagine why James let those ruffians stop our carriage. We'll be home soon, Miss Allen, and we'll have cook bring you some of her special treats, and you will feel better in no time.
So much for an uneventful trip from London. I think there is far more to this robbery than one might suppose. I guess I overslept after the events of yesterday. Yes, come in.
Good morning, miss. This letter just arrived for you, and I thought I should bring it straight up.
Thank you so much, Martha. Just leave it on the desk, please.
Is that all, miss?
Yes, but please let Aunt Catherine know I will be down shortly.
Thank you, miss.
I love my poll duck. Charming. I love my sheep. I don't have any letters to write just now. This is always useful. So Kitty must have heard something about the highwaymen. I am quite keen to discover what she has learned. Lovely. My favorite pair of riding gloves. I don't think I need these. I love my bed. I don't need to call my maid right now. It's nice that we have a wing just for the family. This is my Aunt Catherine's room. This is a painting of Mamma's friend's brother. Good morning, Aunt Catherine. Are you well after our distressing encounter last night?
Oh, I'm quite recovered, but I would like to get my hands on those French ruffians that held up our coach. Just wait until your father returns from London. Then there'll be action on this matter.
The part of the hold-up that seems most mysterious to me is that they knew about our hidden compartment in the coach. That could only be known to someone who is familiar with our family.
I had not thought of that, but you are right. I hope we don't have any servants who are so treacherous. Perhaps I should question them.
We probably don't want to arouse any suspicions just now, until we know more, or at least until Father returns.
That is the prudent course, and one with which I totally approve. As usual, you are showing a good deal of sense this morning.
Miss Allen, how are you faring this morning?
Still a bit shaky, but overall quite well.
What a pity that the highwayman took your necklace.
'Tis a significant personal loss for me.
I am sure these highwaymen will be dealt with. I was considering riding to Lambton today and checking on a few of the shops.
Make sure that you have addressed any assignments your governess might have for you. I don't want to be accused of letting you fall behind.
I will check to see if Mrs. Ansley has left any assignments on my desk before I go out.
Take care.
I'm so thankful that Mrs. Ansley makes the lessons easy during the summer. I think I will ring for Martha and then get started on this. This is the word the French highwayman used.
Did you ring, miss?
Yes, Martha. Will you have the groom ready my horse? I plan to do some riding.
I'll take care of that right away.
That page is done. That looks right. That looks right. That looks right. Well, that's done. The groom should have Copernicus ready by now. I can hardly wait to talk with Kitty. Good morning, Aunt Catherine.
Have you finished your lessons yet?
Indeed. They are all done and I am going to ride into Lambton.
Enjoy your ride.
I don't have time to practice right now. Ah, I see you are all ready, Copper. You're such a beautiful horse, Copper. I won't be too long.
Jane, I'm so glad to see you. I was most anxious to tell you my news.
I came as soon as I could get away.
There is no one here at the moment, so I think it should be safe to talk. I have so much to tell you. Have you heard? There's been another attack by the highwaymen, this time in Shepwood Forest.
Another attack? We only returned last evening. Do let me hear everything.
Well, as you remember, there was the weak plank in Ramsford Bridge, which stopped the carriage, and the highwaymen attacked when it stopped. It is only by the grace of God that they managed to save themselves from a plunge onto the rocks.
Yes, they were fortunate to escape with their lives.
But there's more. Just 3 days ago, a carriage was passing through Shepwood Forest, and the bandits struck again. So it was an ambush, pure and simple.
That is shocking indeed.
Wait, there's more. Some of the travelers have been telling us that the highwaymen are French. There's a rumor that they are led by a certain Captain Mephisto.
I now have my own story to relay about the French highwaymen. In fact, I know all too well. They stopped our carriage last night and robbed us. Aunt Catherine was quite put out.
Was anyone harmed?
No, everyone was fine, but we felt fortunate to get away so easily.
Oh, I am dying to know more about this Captain Mephisto.
Kitty, you're too much of a romantic. But I agree, we do need to know more about this Captain Mephisto.
I'll keep my eyes open in case anything happens here that could be useful.
As usual, you're a treasure, Kitty. Adieu. This looks delicious. Hello, Kitty. How are you today?
I am well, thank you. And yourself?
Quite well. See you later.
Goodbye, Miss Darcy.
What's this? It looks like someone was here long enough to have a snack. Sawdust. I think that plank was weakened intentionally. I want to see what can be found in Shepwood Forest. That was an excellent ride. You're the best, Copper. The groom will put you up and give you a rub down in just a minute. So sorry to intrude. I'll come back later.
No, please stay.
Thank you. I'm so pleased to see you both. Pray tell, what brings you to Pemberley this afternoon, Mr. Radcliffe?
Why, beautiful weather and charming conversation. Miss Allen was just telling me about your experiences last evening. It seems it resulted in quite a loss for Miss Allen. I'm not sure how we'll ever make it up to her.
You can never replace an heirloom, but I'm sure all is not lost. We may find out more about these highwaymen yet.
Your encouragement means a lot to me.
I'm afraid I've been away too long from my affairs this afternoon, so if you'll excuse me, I'll be going.
It was a pleasure to see you.
I'm so glad I returned and had a chance to see you this afternoon. Do stop by again soon.
Indeed. Good day, Miss Allen, and good day, Miss Darcy.
I was thankful to see your cousin, Mr. Radcliffe, as he always brightens my day, which has certainly been a blessing this afternoon. He does enjoy an outing when the weather is fine.
I suspect that his frequent visits are more related to his finding you at home than to the weather.
I could wish that were so. But I know that he has to make a suitable marriage this year, or have his estate entailed away to Clement. As I am only an orphan, I know I could bring him nothing but loss.
I still wish our consulate in India had tried harder to discover who your parents were. As you were such a little girl, it seems they could have put in more effort. It was so fortunate that Mr. Radcliffe's father was in India and decided to bring you back.
Yes, I will always be grateful to him, and of course to Lady Catherine, but I can't help but keenly feel the loss of my locket. It was the only thing I had left from my family, and now that has been taken away.
'Tis a terrible loss, but it seems there is something here that we don't understand.
I have been wondering how they knew about the secret compartment.
I also have wondered about that, and 'tis my intention to find out more.
I have so enjoyed getting to talk to you about this, but I should go and check on Lady Catherine. She should be awake from a nap by now.
You're right, and I should check and see if my governess has left anything. This is an antique, but I'm not sure what to think about it. Interesting.
Miss Darcy, would you like to approve tomorrow evening's bill of fare?
I see you have included ragout on the bill. That is very thoughtful, as it is a favourite of Aunt Catherine's, and we all know that it is something that Mamma does not prefer when she is here. This looks perfect. It will be a very enjoyable supper.
Thank you so much, Miss Darcy. I'll bring it to Miss Reynolds.
Dueling stallions, always exciting. Clement, it seems you are always here. You should get out more.
My dear cousin, there are days I go outside often more than once.
I see this is not one of those days.
Upon my soul, no it isn't. Today I'm concentrating on mastering my poetic skills. Here, what do you think? Oh, my love's like a red, red nose that's softly blown in tune. Oh, my love's like a headache that's sweetly felt in June. No care hast thou for my angst, my heartless bonny lass, but I love thee still, my dear, till dinner time doth pass.
Somehow this sounds vaguely familiar.
Genius. I am just expressing my genius. You won't find anything like it anywhere, what?
On that we are in complete agreement.
I need to get back to my compositions. Now, what rhymes with lass?
I'll leave that to you. Goodbye for the present. I think I'll wait until Clement is gone. I'll be more comfortable then. The only person in the guest wing right now is Clement. I remember that awful storm that hit during our masquerade ball. We had our guest wing stuffed to overflowing with guests who had to stay the night. It was total chaos, but still fun in a strange way. I remember when we first got these, Mamma had seen them and thought they were so beautiful, and then Papa surprised her with them. He's always surprising her in the most thoughtful ways. I see I have another exercise to complete today. This doesn't look hard. Well done. Very well done. Very well done. Excellent. It's complete. This has been a busy day. I should retire. I'll want to get an early start, so I should tell Martha to wake me.
Yes, miss.
Martha, could you be sure to waken me at 7?
I'll remember to wake you.
Thank you so much. Sleep well.
Thank you, Miss Darcy. Good morning, Miss Darcy. It is the time you requested that I awaken you.
Thank you so much, Martha.
My pleasure, miss.
I see Clement is still spending his days in the library.
It is true, though. I heard just last evening that he was gone for an entire week while we were away.
Indeed. Have you heard the reason?
I believe it concerned his health.
His health?
He is seldom up before noon, because of the fatigue, he says. But there are days when he is up early. There is no knowing what he is about.
An apt description of Clement.
Your governess asks that I remind you that today is archery practice.
I love archery. That is such a nice break from studies indoor, especially when it is as nice outside as it looks today.
Yes, it is a beautiful day.
Martha, could I have my breakfast in bed this morning?
Very well, miss.
Thank you, Martha.
My pleasure, miss.
Oh, how delicious. Now I'm ready for the day.
Is there anything else, miss?
I think I am fine for now.
Very well, miss.
You look busy.
As usual.
How have the renovations to your rooms at Mr. Radcliffe's estate been progressing?
The architect is completely incapable of interpreting the style I require. I am perfectly specific, and yet he must always do things several times before he captures the essence of me.
How much longer will you be staying with us?
I know the sorrow it will occasion when I depart, so I have resigned myself to staying at least another month complete.
I think I speak for everyone when I say that news will warm the cockles of everyone's hearts.
Inspirational. Cockles is just the word I was looking for. It rhymes with knuckles.
Your presence must be sorely missed at Mr. Radcliffe's estate.
So it is, my dear cousin. But what can I do? I must continually think of others first.
I understand that you were away last week.
'Tis true. Though it was a tiring effort, I went to Bath to be cured of the fatigue. However, upon returning from Bath, I discovered I am more fatigued than ever. So now I must have to go once more to be cured of the fatigue.
That would be unfortunate indeed.
It is a sacrifice, but we have to place our health first.
What do you think of the trouble the highwaymen have been causing?
Dreadful and distressing. Something must be done about it, and I'm just the one to take action.
Action? What do you propose?
I'm going to put together a sternly worded poem and send it to the Prince Regent. That will get things moving.
Helpful indeed. Only you would have thought of that.
Yes, I am a genius and a man of action.
Be seeing you.
Jane, you look very cheerful this morning.
'Tis beautiful outside, and this is my day for archery practice, so yes, I am very cheerful.
If I were just a little younger, I would be out there with you. I would have been a true proficient, but I didn't have the love for it that you do. Of course, Mr. Radcliffe is quite the best at archery.
It seems he has been a bit preoccupied of late. I know he has a lot on his mind.
There is no reason for him to be preoccupied. He simply needs to commit to Miss Norton, and all of his concerns will be resolved.
I think his affections may lie elsewhere.
Nonsense! He must contract a suitable marriage this year, or have the estate entailed away to Clement, and we all know what that would mean.
Yes, that would never do.
Miss Norton's family is very supportive of the match, as their fortunes have been reduced after the unfortunate collapse of their shares. Miss Norton's brother is quite concerned about the family's future, and this marriage would benefit everyone.
It seems a shame that pragmatism must triumph over affection, but such are the times in which we live.
It has always been so. He is a Radcliffe after all.
And yet, Mr. Radcliffe pursues his own direction.
Yes, that is vexing, but in the end, he will do what he has to do.
I suppose 'tis time I started my archery practice.
Have a nice time.
I love archery. Let's see now. There's a wind from the right. Ah, a bullseye! Halfway there.
Hello, Jane. Nice shot.
That means a lot coming from you, Mr. Radcliffe.
This is one of my favorite sports, but it doesn't look like it will be long before you're giving me serious competition.
I'll wager you didn't come all the way over here today just to watch me practice archery.
You know me too well. How is Miss Allen this day?
I haven't had the chance to see her yet, but as soon as she discovers that you are here, I am sure she will be exceptional.
Miss Allen always brightens my day. If there was just a way.
I know that you care dearly for Miss Allen. There must be a way forward for both of you.
It is a hope, but in the end, only wishful thinking. I know that if Clement were to control my estate, the first thing he would do is clear the forests and sell the wood. He has always placed his pleasure first, which has led to the dissipation of his own funds. I can't imagine in what state the tenants would find themselves. If it were only about me, the decision would be easy.
At this point it seems we are at the mercy of Providence, but I would not give up hope. I had the occasion to ride to the Ramsford Bridge, and found something that might help us discover more about the highwaymen.
What was that?
I found sawdust where I believe the bandits weakened one of the planks which caused the coach to stop.
That is certainly interesting. That would mean they are more organized than I thought.
Yesterday afternoon, I took the opportunity to ride to Shepwood Forest. That is where the highwaymen struck 3 days ago. While I was there, I found the small dagger with a fleur-de-lis.
Could I see that? I think this, without a doubt, proves the rogues are French.
I agree completely. I can't help but think there may be more to these robberies than meets the eye.
You may be right, but there again, it may just be ruffians looking for easy access to riches.
I suppose. Only time will tell. I should get back to my practice.
Would you mind if I took a turn?
Not at all. Meine Güte, you are as good a shot as ever. I don't believe anyone could best you at archery.
Thank you. It has always been something that comes naturally to me, and I truly enjoy it. If you'll excuse me, I believe I will go check and see if Miss Allen is about.
I am sure she will be prepared to receive visitors, especially if the visitor is you.
You do me a great kindness. I will see you later.
Take care. I love archery. Let's see now. It's nice and calm. Ah, a bullseye! Well, that was a successful practice. I have so much to do. I should postpone a walk for a while. How are you doing?
Just fine.
I understand that Clement took a week complete at Bath while we were in London.
That is my understanding also, but I have it reliably that the assemblies at the lower rooms at the bottom of the orange grove are now quite unfashionable and poorly attended.
I have heard the same, but that fancy cotillions at the new rooms have captured all the beauty and fashion to be found at Bath.
I am sure that it was there you would have found Clement.
Of that we can be certain. At the least, he would have been fashionably lounging there.
We know Clement too well.
Be seeing you.
Take care.
This might be interesting to read. That's not right. Excellent, it's complete.
Did you ring, miss?
Yes, Martha. Will you have the groom ready my horse? I plan to do some riding.
Yes, miss.
Ah, I see you are all ready, Kappa. What's this? It looks like someone has lost their baggage. The coach was probably headed to the inn. Perhaps Kitty will recognize this bag.
Good morning, Jane.
Do you have any news?
An old man named Herman came in the other night, telling sea tales about a ship that had come into harbor, manned exclusively by monkeys.
I found this bag at the crossroads. Do you have any idea who might be its owner?
We had some baggage like this come in earlier today. I thought that coachman looked rather careless, so it doesn't surprise me that he failed to secure all his baggage. Let's check inside and see if there's any identification.
This is an expensive cloak. The gentleman that owns it has excellent taste.
I wonder if he's handsome. With a cloak like this, he would have to be.
Here is a letter. It's addressed to Mr. Norton, but as yet has not been posted. So whoever owns this bag must be acquainted with Mr. Norton.
Mr. Norton is always such a charming guest, and one of the handsomest.
Oh, Kitty, only you could find so much romance in a bag of luggage.
Oh, but Jane, don't you think that the owner of a bag such as this would have to be very handsome?
Kitty, I'm certain he is. No one could be so thoughtless as to disappoint you in this matter. I guess we'll have to wait and see who arrives to claim the bag.
I'll put this with the other bags that came in today.
Have you heard any more concerning our highwaymen?
It doesn't seem that they've struck again. Maybe they have decided to leave the district.
That would be good news indeed. We can hope that that is the case. Be seeing you.
Goodbye, Miss Darcy.
I'll want to get an early start, so I should tell Martha to wake me.
Yes, miss.
I was more industrious when I rang, but now I think I would like you to wake me at 8.
I'll remember to wake you.
Thank you so much. Sleep well.
Thank you, Miss Darcy. Good morning, Miss Darcy. It is the time you requested that I awaken you.
Thank you so much. You are a dear, Martha.
Anything else, miss?
Martha, could I have my breakfast in bed this morning?
Very well, miss.
Thank you, Martha.
My pleasure, miss.
Oh, how delicious. Delightful.
Is there anything else, miss?
I think I am fine for now.
Very well, miss.
That looks right. That looks right. Excellent. It's complete.
Did you ring, miss?
Yes, Martha. Will you have the groom ready my horse? I plan to do some riding.
Yes, miss.
I see you are still busy composing.
Upon my word, each one is a melody from my heart.
Nothing. See you later. How are you, Aunt Catherine?
Very well, thank you. How have you been?
Very well also.
Jane, since Mr. Radcliffe is dining with us, would you create one of your charming flower centerpieces for us? I notice the flowers in the courtyard are looking particularly beautiful today.
Certainly, I would be glad to.
Thank you so much. It will make supper that much more pleasant. I think you will find a pair of garden shears and some ribbon in the foyer.
I will attend to the arrangement right away. I need shears or something to cut the flowers with to make an arrangement. I think I need a few more flowers. This is just right.
Hello, Miss Darcy. Would you like for me to take care of those for you?
Oh yes, do please, Martha. These are for the centerpiece for this evening's supper.
They look beautiful. I will get them in water right away.
Thank you so much, Martha. Ah, I see you are all ready, Kappa.
How are you today, Miss Darcy?
Very well. And you?
It's been very busy, but we have a new guest from France. He's the handsome gentleman over there with the mustache and the owner of the bag you found yesterday.
From France?
Yes, and he expressed his wish to thank you when I told him you had found his bag. As you can see, he is as handsome as we supposed.
Indeed, he is a very handsome Frenchman. I think I will give him an opportunity to thank me, as I am very curious about the highwaymen who are also French.
He seems rather nice and enjoys conversing.
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Je m'appelle Pierre Boucher. Je suis enchanté de vous rencontrer.
Je m'appelle Mademoiselle Darcy.
If you prefer, we can speak English, as I enjoy practicing English when I am in your country. You must be the daughter of Mr. Darcy. His estate is truly beautiful, and I understand I owe you a debt of gratitude. It seems that you recovered one of my bags that had been carelessly lost by a rather offish baggage handler.
You are very good, sir. As for your bag, it was no bother at all. But thank you for your kind words.
Traveling can be such a chore, but the beauty of your countryside more than compensates.
Have you been in England long?
I have only recently arrived, but your country is as charmant as ever.
Again, you are too kind. Have you heard of the recent danger caused by highwaymen?
Oui, and the rumor is they may be French.
At least they have a strong French accent.
With the troubles we have in France, it would not surprise me to find that some of our less scrupulous have been driven to theft as a last resort.
We are all quite determined to find a way to stop them.
Alors, there is nothing that would please me more. But, unfortunately, I am completely in the dark on this matter.
A dear friend of mine lost a locket to the ruffians, and as it was an heirloom, she feels the loss rather keenly.
Stealing for money is one thing, but I am sure if the highwayman had known it had sentimental value, he would never have taken it.
Perhaps, but that would mean a highwayman with a conscience.
Perhaps such a man exists. It is difficult to say. These are desperate times.
Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy your stay.
Assuredly so. Vous avez été charmant. Au revoir.
Merci. Au revoir, monsieur.
Good morning, Jane. Did Mr. Boucher know anything about the robberies?
He was charming, but not informative. He may know more than he lets on.
Then I'll keep an eye on his comings and goings.
Thank you. That'd be very good of you. Until next time.
Goodbye, Miss Darcy.
How are you doing?
Just fine.
Be seeing you.
Take care.
Zounds, it's you, Jane.
How are you this day?
As creative as ever, but fatigued by that same creativity. The curse of the prolific artist. Here, let me recite to you my latest poem.
I'm sure that will be enlightening.
Here is a latest sample of my inspiration. I see her in the April showers. I see her stand and stare. I hear her beauty in the bells. I hear her gasp for air. Then in the sunlight she is caught, and that is sweet and fair. There's not a bonny hat with strings, but messes up her hair.
There are no words.
Exactly so, a true expression of my inner self.
And yet, it has a bonny air about it that is familiar.
Such is the case with all great poetry. It stirs the same passions.
Yes, it does evoke something.
Speaking of evoking, there is nothing quite so evocative as an ornamental hermitage.
What?
An ornamental hermitage. It is quite the thing this season. In fact, no great estate can be truly complete without one.
Where did you hear of this?
That is one of the benefits of travelling extensively. When I was last at Bath, they have pamphlets on all things de rigueur. Here, I have one on ornamental hermitages that I can give you. Once you have studied it, I am sure you will be convinced that Pemberley cannot exist without one.
You are a constant source of amazement, Clement.
Amazement is my speciality.
I am off to study this pamphlet and fully expect to be all astonishment.
No doubt, creativity calls.
My dearest Jane, something has come up and your father needs the date on the will of Mr. Lamley. The will is located in the library with your father's business papers. All Papa needs is the date, so if you could put that in a note and get it into the post today, that would be perfect. Also, I found a charming book on horsemanship that I thought you would love, so I have sent it on ahead, as I could not wait for you to have it. Love, Mama. I'm so glad Mama sent this book. I love horses. I should go and get that date right away. It is a relief to see Clement is occupied elsewhere. There are several things I want to check on. Here's the date, May 27th, 1796. So his son was in India when he made his will. It says here the executor is to retain the estate for 25 years in the event his son or heirs cannot be located. After that time, the estate is to go to his nephew. Meine Güte! His nephew is Clement. This jewelry must be part of the Mr. Lamley estate. This is a beautiful brooch, but it looks like a piece of it is missing. In fact, this looks like it is a companion piece. Now I have to get this date in the post for Papa. I wonder why he needs it. What should I write? My dearest Mama, I love the book on horses. I can see why you chose this book. It has great information about horses in it. It was such a delightful treat when I opened your package and discovered you had sent me this wonderful book. The Mr. Lamley will was in Father's papers exactly where you said it would be. The date of the will was May 27th, 1796. I hope you will not feel that it is prying if I ask why Papa needed the date on the will. Concerning my new morning gown, I was wondering if we had been specific with the dressmaker as to only the body and sleeves being made double. In any event, could you please confirm this with her? When you speak to the dressmaker, could you also discuss having a new velvet pelisse made for me, as I understand they are going to be very much worn this winter. Everyone sends their love, and we all miss you so much. With best love, Jane. Now, I just need to fold and seal it. I should get my letter posted first.
Did you ring, miss?
Could you get this letter in the post today?
Of course, I'll take care of it right now. Is that all, miss?
Yes, Martha, thank you.
Yes, miss.
Yes, cousin?
Oh, never mind. How are you doing?
Just fine.
I received a letter from Mother today.
How is your mother doing?
Very well. In the letter, she asked me to look up the date on the will of Mr. Lamley for Father.
Did she now?
Do you know whatever became of Mr. Lamley's son? I can remember so little of the whole affair.
That was a long time ago. Mr. Lamley became ill while his son was in India and made his will. If I remember correctly, his son died in the plague in India. It was a very difficult time for India. Many families lost loved ones.
I noticed in the will that his estate was to be held in trust for 25 years.
When Mr. Lamley made out his will, he was not on particularly good terms with his son and had not heard from him for several years. So he included that clause to provide time for an heir to come forward. But I suppose that was not needed, as his son died in the plague not long after Mr. Lamley died.
That is so sad that he had no heirs.
They were good friends and a good family. It is a loss to all of us. What is worse is that since there are no heirs, the estate will eventually be entailed away to the heirs of Mr. Lamley's sister, which would mean that Clement could ultimately inherit the estate, an event no one would have hoped for.
Indeed. Be seeing you.
Take care.
I'll want to get an early start, so I should tell Martha to wake me.
Yes, miss.
Martha, I want to be up by 6. Could you see that I am awakened then?
I'll remember to wake you.
Thank you so much. Sleep well.
Thank you, Miss Darcy. Good morning, Miss Darcy. It is the time you requested that I awaken you.
Thank you so much. You are a dear, Martha.
Your governess asked that I remind you that today is archery practice.
An excellent idea.
Anything else, miss?
I think I am fine for now.
Very well, miss.
I love our astrolabe. What a wonderful device. I can't imagine how bad this must have been if Clement was willing to burn it. I could sit here all day. This is the perfect place to read. I can't take this chair with me.
Good day, Jane.
Good day, Mr. Radcliffe.
You look more radiant today than when you first returned from London. I'm sure it is the country air that agrees with you.
The events in London are always exciting, but you are right. Nothing compares with Pemberley.
Aunt Catherine has just prevailed upon me to escort her and Miss Allen to Lambton to visit the shops. As Aunt Catherine is in desperate need of a new pair of gloves, can I persuade you to come with us?
It sounds like a pleasant diversion, but unfortunately I have already made plans for today.
That sounds almost like an excuse.
A little. But I do have many things that I want to accomplish today, and also it occurs to me that you might find several delightful moments with Miss Allen on your outing.
I'd be lying if I said that had not occurred to me as well.
I know how hopeless things seem, but you never know when fate will intervene. I still find the theft of Miss Allen's locket terribly suspicious.
I have deferred my commitments regarding Miss Norton in this area for too long already. I shall soon be required by convention and social expectations to forego the desires of my heart and follow the path required by duty. That, I am afraid, is the way fate has directed my destiny.
And yet, there may be something. I will tell you more the next time I see you.
Until then, have a pleasant day.
I hope you have an equally pleasant journey. I love archery. Let's see now. There's a strong wind from the left. Ah, a bullseye. Halfway there. Ah, a bullseye. Well, that was a successful practice. I love coming here. I have to remember to ask Papa who decided to name this the Lantern. It is such an appropriate name. Always delightful. I can't help wondering what this looked like when it was a gatehouse. What's this? You can see for miles, and our estate looks so scenic. Where could our telescope be? I had hoped to use it today. This is where the telescope mounts. How are you, Aunt Catherine?
Very well, thank you. How have you been?
Very well also. That is a lovely scarf you are working on.
Thank you. I rarely enjoy needlework.
Definitely shows. Your work is always so delicate.
Yes, I have this scarf I would like to finish before the Reverend's wife stops by. She is collecting for the poor, and this is the last thing I have to do.
I noticed that the telescope is missing from the lantern tower.
I understand that it was sent to be cleaned. Giles told me earlier that it had been returned just today. If you would like to finish the scarf for me, I will check with Giles and see where he has placed it.
Thank you. That'd be excellent. I don't think that's the right color. That looks done.
Jane, we are in luck. Giles has placed the telescope in the entrance, so you can take it whenever you would like.
That is great news. Also, I have finished your scarf.
What beautiful needle wisdom. I couldn't have done better myself.
That is certainly high praise coming from you.
We are now completely ready for the Reverend's wife when she comes.
As all is prepared, I will look to the telescope now. Be seeing you.
Take care.
This is just what I need to open the wooden crate. I see you are still busy composing.
Upon my word, each one is a melody from my heart.
Nothing. See you later. What should I write? My dear Miss Norton, it has been quite some time since we had the pleasure of your company here at Pemberley. Aunt Catherine and I have just returned from London. The fashions are so charming this year. Additionally, we happened upon your brother's calling card case here today at Pemberley. If you would like, we could send it by post. Please advise as to what action you would prefer. Pray give my best compliments to your family. Miss Darcy, Pemberley. Now, I just need to fold and seal it.
Did you ring, miss?
Could you get this letter in the post today?
Of course, I'll take care of it right now. Is that all, miss?
Yes, Martha, thank you.
Yes, miss.
This is nailed shut. I need a lever to open it. There. That looks perfect. Insufferable telescope. What's this? It looks like someone is at the hunting lodge. I wonder who that could be. We haven't been at the hunting lodge in quite some time. I think it is time I rode over there and checked it out. Good morning, Aunt Catherine.
Miss Norton is a very sensible young lady.
I have always thought so.
After her recent return from Paris, I was discussing the difficulties attending a honeymoon in Paris during the summer.
That indeed would be difficult.
Miss Norton affirmed that a winter honeymoon in the country would be abominable. However, she was of the opinion a honeymoon in Paris would be delightful at any time of the year.
Indeed.
I find she is in raptures about Paris, but I am sure it will pass with time.
Be seeing you.
Take care.
Yes, cousin?
Nothing. See you later.
Did you ring, miss?
Yes, Martha. Will you have the groom ready my horse? I plan to do some riding.
Yes, miss. It is always such an inconvenience when marriage settlements are put off.
A great inconvenience indeed.
Only recently I have felt such pity on the poor clerks who were required to engross the deeds at the last moment, and the counsel for either party who must deliberate with attending objections to each of the points of the marriage settlement. But it does lay the foundation for a successful marriage.
You are all sensibility.
I am always attentive to the most minute details.
Be seeing you.
Take care.
Ah, I see you are all ready, Kappa. I love our hunting lodge. We haven't used our hunting lodge in such a long time. I wonder who I saw here and what they were doing. 'Tis locked. I'll have to have Martha fetch the key from Hogarth for me. Looking at these tracks, there seems to have been quite a few visitors here. What this means, I'm just not sure yet.
Good morning, Jane.
Do you have any news?
Did you hear that Miss Sedgwick is having a new dress made with a lower waistline?
That's nothing. Have you heard about the long sleeves that everyone is wearing in London?
Absolutely shocking, isn't it?
Well, I must hurry away. Be seeing you.
Goodbye, Miss Darcy.
Just some old paper. Ew, a broken shoelace. Kitty definitely needs to clean over here.
Bonjour, Miss Darcy.
Au revoir again.
Au revoir.
How are you doing?
Just fine.
Be seeing you.
Take care. Did you ring, miss?
Could you have Hogarth leave the key to the hunting lodge on the table in the entryway?
Certainly, miss. Is that all, miss?
Yes, Martha. Will you have the groom ready my horse? I plan to do some riding.
Yes, miss.
I'm sure Aunt Catherine will want to play quadrille after dinner. Here's the key to our hunting lodge. Ah, I see you are all ready, Kappa. This looks like lead shot. What's in this bag? These look like French coins. Why would these be in our hunting lodge? We have an astrolabe just like this in the library. If I remember what Papa said, by turning this dial, you can determine eclipses, full moons, dates, and other things. Let's see. The year is a long time ago, but the date seems to be set for just a few days ago. How odd. This is my Aunt Catherine's room. I'll want to get an early start, so I should tell Martha to wake me.
Yes, miss.
Martha, could you be sure to waken me at 7?
I'll remember to wake you.
Thank you so much. Sleep well.
Thank you, Miss Darcy. Good morning, Miss Darcy. It is the time you requested that I awaken you.
Thank you so much. You are a dear, Martha.
The highwaymen are becoming more bold by the day. Last night, even though it was raining, it seems they held up another coach in Shepwood Forest.
They are becoming bold indeed. Please have the groom ready my horse, as I would like to check out the site of the hold-up as soon as possible.
I will tell him directly. Do be careful, miss.
Thank you, Martha. I will.
Anything else, miss?
As I have committed to sharing my genius with the world, I have not been inclined to disclose the pending publication of a poem of my brilliant masterpieces.
I wish I knew who Clement was talking to and what they are saying. If I go in there, they will not speak freely, and whoever it is may turn and leave. If I make haste to the library, I can overhear that conversation and see who Clement is talking to through the squint.
I have told you not to come here.
Important.
It had better be.
Darcy, everywhere.
We can't talk here. We'll meet.
What was that? Oh no, they're gone. Clement could come in here at any moment. I must get down from here. He's headed this way. I must make haste. I didn't hear you enter.
As usual, I'm a perfect guest and cause no disturbances.
I thought I saw you in the entryway.
I was just speaking to an agent for the publisher, who is seeking my signature on a contract for a book of my poetry. As I have not committed to sharing my genius with the world, I have not been inclined to disclose the pending publication of a tome of my brilliant masterpieces.
Indeed.
I even mentioned what an inspiration you are to my work, dear cousin.
You do me a kindness, sir.
It is fundamental to my nature.
Well, I shouldn't keep you from your compositions.
You are so thoughtful.
Good morning, Aunt Catherine.
'Tis most unfortunate that Miss Webb was standing outside last Sunday in the evening air. When I saw her, I stopped the coach and advised her, take care of yourself. If she follows my advice, she will avoid the inconvenience of a cold. I always advise young ladies not to stand outside in the evening air.
I do believe Miss Webb was only detained a few moments outside her coach because the horses gibbed, and she was frightened, so she got out.
No matter. If she catches cold, it will most certainly not last long if she heeds what I have told her.
You are most thoughtful, Aunt Catherine. Be seeing you.
Take care.
Ah, I see you are all ready, Kappa. I want to see what can be found in Shepwood Forest. Looks like one of these horseshoes may have been loose. I don't remember seeing that cloth before. It reminds me of Mr. Boucher's shirt. If there were just some way I could get it down. I would hate to leave that. I think it is important. There's a strong wind from the right. This definitely looks like the shirt Mr. Boucher was wearing. Who are you?
Stop your inquiries, or you will know more about Captain Mephisto than you would desire.
Who was that? Captain Mephisto? If he thinks he's going to scare me, he is sadly mistaken. I am now more determined than ever to get to the bottom of this. Hello, Kitty. How are you today?
I am well, thank you. And yourself?
Quite well. Do you have any news?
Yesterday, we had an Italian swordmaster spend the night.
Really?
Yes, indeed. He is traveling across country, earning his way giving sword lessons. He was quite dashing. Only the tailor was interested in taking lessons. He thought it might make cutting out patterns quicker.
We did he? Be seeing you.
Goodbye, Miss Darcy.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Bonjour, Mademoiselle Darcy.
I was out riding today and found this piece of cloth. I thought you might have torn your shirt and could have it mended.
It is definitely French material, but no, it is not mine.
Do you know to whom it might belong?
Mais non, as French material is the finest. It could belong to any well-dressed person.
Well, do let me know if you find the owner of this material so that I can return it.
Certainement.
Au revoir again.
Au revoir.
You are composing a new poem, I see.
Upon my honor, my best work yet. It is on the subject of the subjugated heart.
Indeed, that must be a singular work.
Oh, it is. I'm dedicating it to Mr. Radcliffe, and when he hears it, he shall make up his mind at once and marry that lovely Miss Allen. As I tell him whenever I see him, he must marry for love. Mr. Radcliffe, I said to him just the other day, where your heart is concerned, my dear fellow, the rest of you must follow. If you are going to marry, make it for love. Cast off these bonds of filial duty and lead Miss Allen before the Master of Divinity.
Clement, you do astonish me at times.
Quite right, my dear cousin. At times I even astonish myself.
Be seeing you. Thank you, my dear Miss Darcy, for your letter concerning my brother's calling card case. We are very much obliged to you. My brother tells me it was taken from him when he was held up just a couple of days ago at the Ramsford Bridge. He thought his favorite calling card case had been lost forever. It has been in the family for years and was not something he wished to lose. If you could send it to us by post, that would be most appreciated. Yours affectionately, Miss Norton, Norbury. It seems strange that Mr. Norton's case could end up in our Belvedere. I can't imagine how it got there. I should put the case and a note in the post today. I think I'll retain one of Mr. Norton's calling cards. What should I write? My dear Miss Norton, I was so glad to see your letter today. I will send your brother's calling card case directly. I am so happy that we found it and can return it to him. The highwaymen are becoming quite a plague on travellers in our district. The more we all know about them, the better chance we have of catching them. Was there anything of a specific nature that your brother noticed concerning the highwaymen? Yours affectionately, Miss Darcy, Pemberley. Now, I just need to fold and seal it.
Did you ring, miss?
Could you get this letter in the post today?
Of course, I'll take care of it right now. Is that all, miss?
Yes, Martha, thank you.
Yes, miss.
They make such a beautiful couple. If there were just some way that Mr. Radcliffe and Miss Allen could realize their dreams. Unfortunately, it seems that Mr. Radcliffe will have to marry Miss Norton to maintain the integrity of his estate. I'll want to get an early start, so I should tell Martha to wake me.
Yes, miss.
Martha, I want to be up by 6. Could you see that I am awakened then?
I'll remember to wake you.
Thank you so much. Sleep well.
Thank you, Miss Darcy. Good morning, Miss Darcy. It is the time you requested that I awaken you.
Thank you so much. You are a dear, Martha.
Your governess asked that I remind you that today is archery practice.
An excellent idea.
Anything else, miss?
Martha, could I have my breakfast in bed this morning?
Very well, miss.
Thank you, Martha.
My pleasure, miss.
Oh, this looks lovely. That was so good.
Is there anything else, miss?
I think I am fine for now.
Very well, miss.
I love archery. Let's see now. It's nice and calm. Ah, a bullseye. Ah, a bullseye. Halfway there. Ah, a bullseye. Ah, a bullseye. Well, that was a successful practice. How are you, Aunt Catherine?
Very well, thank you. How have you been?
Very well also.
Jane, since Mr. Radcliffe is dining with us, would you create one of your charming flower centerpieces for us? I notice the flowers in the courtyard are looking particularly beautiful today.
Certainly, I would be glad to.
Thank you so much. It will make supper that much more pleasant. I think you will find a pair of garden shears and some ribbon in the foyer.
I will attend to the arrangement right away. I think I need a few more flowers. This will make a perfect arrangement.
Hello, Miss Darcy. Would you like for me to take care of those for you?
Oh, yes. Do please, Martha. These are for the centerpiece for this evening's supper.
They look beautiful. I will get them in water right away.
Thank you so much, Martha. Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt your composing.
Make yourself easy. My train of thought is gone.
Nothing. See you later. My dear Miss Darcy, my brother Charles was so pleased to have his case returned. You are really too good, Miss Darcy. I asked Charles about the highwaymen, and he said that 2 primary things he noticed was that they were French and that one of them rode a black horse with 1 white stocking. I hope this helps. Yours affectionately, Miss Norton, Norbury.
Did you ring, miss?
Yes, Martha. Will you have the groom ready my horse? I plan to do some riding.
Yes, miss.
This is my brother William's room. He's away at school. Ah, I see you are all ready, Kappa.
How are you today, Miss Darcy?
The ride over was quite enjoyable. How are you today?
I'm doing well.
Do you have any news?
Only one thing which was out of the way. Mr. Norton was here yesterday.
Really?
Yes, and he spent some time talking to Mr. Boucher. They seem to know each other.
That is quite interesting. Just as we suspected from the letter we saw in his bag.
I'll keep my eyes open and my ear to the ground.
Indeed, Kitty, you are exceptional at discovering new information.
Bonjour, Miss Darcy.
By the way, I saw a black horse with one white stocking outside. Do you know who it belongs to?
Yes, the horse is named Midnight, and I just bought her.
Really? Who did you buy her from?
Oddly enough, it was from a fellow countryman of mine here in your country. He said she had speed and baton.
Do you know the man's name?
He said his name was Etienne Dupuis, but I am not at all certain he was being honest. But I got a good deal on the mare, so I wasn't too particular.
She is a beauty. Would you consider selling her?
I would, but I need such a horse for my present business engagement.
Well, if you decide to sell her, make sure to let me know.
I will definitely keep that in mind.
Do your engagements require a lot of traveling?
Mais oui, a lot of interaction with people. But of late, my art is not in being around a lot of people.
I can understand that. Au revoir again.
Au revoir.
Hello, Kitty. How are you today?
I am well, thank you. And yourself?
Quite well. Do you have any news?
I understand that Mr. Boucher has been thwarted in love.
I thought he looked a bit despondent today.
No one seems to know much about the affair, but I think his love is going to marry another.
The French are inclined to be rather dramatic where affairs of the heart are concerned.
He does seem to have his heart broken, poor fellow.
I think I will go and condole with him, and perhaps at the same time I might get some information I need.
He would probably enjoy the chance to visit with you.
Well, I must hurry away. Be seeing you.
Goodbye, Miss Darcy.
Bonjour, Mademoiselle Darcy.
Bonjour, Monsieur Boucher. How are you this fine day?
As well as I have a right to be.
I heard you might be suffering from an unfortunate attachment.
Unfortunately, I am afraid I have lost l'amour de ma vie.
Que triste.
Our destinies are never fixed. But right now, I wish most that my work provided the opportunity for seclusion.
It is said that time heals all wounds, especially les blessures du cœur.
You are all kindness, Miss Darcy.
Au revoir again.
Au revoir. Bonjour. What's this?
It is a business opportunity that I thought might appeal to you. It provides an income, living accommodations, and most importantly, the opportunity to be alone and consider the cruelties of life.
Indeed, this is the perfect situation for moi.
In that case, do you think you will still be needing your mare?
But of course, I would be glad to sell you my horse. With my new life, it will not be a necessity.
I will be glad to pay what you paid for her, plus £5. Would that be acceptable?
That would be very generous of you. The horse is yours. By the way, her name is Midnight.
Merci. I wish the best in your new profession. I will have my groom come for the horse.
I am indebted to you for this marvelous new chapter in my life.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Good morning, Jane.
Do you have any news?
This morning, we had a traveling puppeteer in town. He was rarely entertaining. However, he called himself a Spielman and only spoke German, so he didn't make a lot of money and went on.
Be seeing you.
Goodbye, Miss Darcy.
What's this? This letter's in French. I'll have to translate this when I get home.
Hold up. Mr. Norton.
Mr. Norton? I wish I could hear better.
But Miss Allen... Clement. We have to meet up with Captain Mephisto.
Did you hear that? Someone is in the bridge.
Oh no!
Hold up.
Mr. Norton.
Mr. Norton? I wish I could hear better. Quiet, Copernicus.
But Miss Allen,
Clement.
we have to meet up with Captain Mephisto.
I know that name.
I don't see why. Yeah.
Did you forget on the bridge? No, allons.
That sounds like the bandits who held up the coach. I should check to see if they are gone. I'd better get back to Pemberley. That's odd. It could mean so many things. This note looks as though it was torn from another sheet of paper. I wonder...
Did you ring, miss?
Yes, Martha. Will you have the groom ready my horse? I plan to do some riding.
Yes, miss.
Ah, I see you are all ready, Kappa. Isn't that the day Mr. Norton was held up?
Did you ring, miss?
Do you know if our groom has collected midnight from Mr. Boucher?
Yes, miss, he has.
Could you ask him to have her saddled? I would like to take her for a ride this afternoon.
Yes, miss, I'll take care of it right now.
Thank you. If the horse book Mama sent me is correct, if I show Midnight this cloth, she might just take me to where she has been stabled. All right, gal, you can have your head. Show me what you know. So this is where you've been kept, Midnight. This old mill looks abandoned. I don't think I'd ever be able to find my way back here without you, Midnight. The shoe is not rusted, so it must have been lost recently. This mill hasn't been used for a long time. This mill looks spooky now, but it must have once had a happy family living here. I imagine a lot of grain has gone through this mill. Let's go, Midnight.
Did you ring, miss?
Yes, Martha. Will you have the groom ready my horse? I plan to do some riding.
Yes, miss.
I see you are still busy composing. Oh, never mind. Ah, I see you are all ready, Kappa.
Good morning, Jane.
Do you have any news?
Nothing yet, Miss Darcy.
Well, I must hurry away. Be seeing you.
Goodbye, Miss Darcy.
This is a wonderful pamphlet. I am contemplating the vagaries of a hermitage even now.
Then I won't disturb you.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. I have to put this out or the whole bridge may go up in flames. It's too late. This looks like a note tied to the arrow. Let's see what it says. This is the same shoelace and paper that was on the fireplace mantel at the inn. Whoever did this has definitely been to the inn also.
Hello, Miss Darcy.
How are you this day, Kitty?
As Mr. Boucher would say, better than I have a right to be.
Have you noticed anyone with papers over by the fireplace recently?
Yes, the other day, Mr. Boucher spilled some ink on his writing paper and was going to burn it in the fireplace. But he may have just put it on the mantel instead. I don't remember him burning it.
That is really quite interesting. Did you see anyone else looking around the fireplace?
No, not that I can remember.
Have you heard anything else about the highwaymen?
Nothing more since we last spoke.
Thanks so much. You've been a big help. Be seeing you.
Have a good day, Miss Darcy.
I want to see what can be found in Shepherd Forest. The shoe matches the imprint in the dirt. If I just knew which horse this shoe belonged to, we could catch these highwaymen. They match. Whoever has the horse this shoe fits has some explaining to do. I'll want to get an early start, so I should tell Martha to wake me.
Yes, miss.
Martha, I want to be up by 6. Could you see that I am awakened then?
I'll remember to wake you.
Thank you so much. Sleep well.
Thank you, Miss Darcy. Good morning, Miss Darcy. It is the time you requested that I awaken you.
Thank you so much. You are a dear, Martha.
Anything else, miss?
I think I am fine for now.
Very well, miss.
That's the artwork I was looking for. 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 Excellent. It's complete. How are you doing?
Just fine.
Be seeing you.
Take care. Did you ring, miss?
Could Could you ask our groom if he recognizes this horseshoe?
Certainly, miss. He is well known for his knowledge of all the stock in the area.
He truly is. As soon as you know something, just leave a note on my desk.
I will take it to him directly.
Thank you.
Did you ring, miss?
Yes, Martha. Will you have the groom ready my horse? I plan to do some riding.
Yes, miss.
Ah, I see you are all ready, Kappa.
Good to see you, Miss Darcy.
Good to see you too. You are looking well.
Thank you. It is a beautiful day.
Indeed, it was a lovely ride over. I hope you have news for me.
Not much, but your cousin, Mr. Clement Weatherby, did stop by last night.
Really?
Yes, he gave one of his poetry recitals extolling his genius and sharing his newest creation.
It wasn't that awful one about the lass, was it?
The very one.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Just the word I was thinking of. I believe he threw a copy of his poem into the dustbin when he was through, and everyone cheered. I'm not sure if they were cheering for the poem or for his action.
Do you think it is there still?
I believe so.
Did you notice if Clement talked to Pierre?
No, Clement was far too involved with his poetry to really spend much time conversing with anyone, unless they were praising him before the entire room.
Well, I have to go.
See you later, Miss Darcy.
Be seeing you. That's rubbish. These match perfectly. It looks as though this note was torn from the poem Clement left in the tavern. If I hold it to the light, I can see the Pemberley watermark quite clearly on both pieces. Miss Darcy, our groom says this is a shoe that Clement's horse threw the other day. He hopes you find that satisfactory. Martha, this is more puzzling than ever. Why would Clement have been at both that old mill and in Shepwood Forest where the hold-up occurred? Perhaps he is looking into this also.
Yes, cousin?
Oh, never mind. How odd. I don't remember the step squeaking. What? Is this a piece of paper under this step? I wonder if this was put here to stop the squeak. This looks like one of Clement's poems. Finally, a good use for his genius. Ah, I see you are all ready, Kappa. Using the information in this note, I should be able to adjust this astrolabe, and if I am correct... This doesn't look right. This date is tomorrow. I should reset the date on the astrolabe before I leave. I am going to put this note back and see what happens. I'll want to get an early start, so I should tell Martha to wake me.
Yes, miss.
Martha, I want to be up by 6. Could you see that I am awakened then?
I'll remember to wake you.
Thank you so much. Sleep well.
Thank you, Miss Darcy. Good morning, Miss Darcy. It is the time you requested that I awaken you.
Thank you so much. You are a dear, Martha.
Your governess asked that I remind you that today is archery practice.
An excellent idea.
Anything else, miss?
I think I am fine for now.
Very well, miss.
Haha, if we had more guests over, I could get rich going through the cushions. That's odd. These are French coins. The step squeaks. Someone must have taken the note. The note is gone. I love archery. Let's see now. It's nice and calm. Ah, a bullseye. Ah, a bullseye. Halfway there. Ah, a bullseye. Ah, a bullseye. Ah, a bullseye. Well, that was a successful practice. I see you are still busy composing.
Upon my word, each one is a melody from my heart.
Oh, never mind. I'll want to get an early start, so I should tell Martha to wake me.
Yes, miss.
Martha, could you be sure to waken me at 7?
I'll remember to wake you.
Thank you so much. Sleep well.
Thank you, Miss Darcy. Good morning, Miss Darcy. It is the time you requested that I awaken you.
Thank you so much. You are a dear, Martha.
Anything else, miss?
Martha, could I have my breakfast in bed this morning?
Very well, miss.
Thank you, Martha.
My pleasure, miss.
Oh, how delicious. My, that was wonderful.
Is there anything else, miss?
I think I am fine for now.
Very well, miss. Did you ring, miss?
Yes, Martha. Will you have the groom ready my horse? I plan to do some riding.
Yes, miss.
Ah, I see you are all ready, Kappa.
Good morning, Jane. Did you hear that there was a holdup in Shepwood Forest again?
What? Are you certain?
Yes, the people who were robbed had rooms here last night.
Did they say anything about the highwaymen?
They said they were French ruffians, but charming ruffians. When the lady told them that her rings had been her mother's, the leader, Captain Mephisto, said that he would take a dance instead. So he waltzed her around the carriageway and sent them on with her valuables intact.
A gentleman bandit? Who would have imagined? I thought they only existed in novels.
It seems so romantic. I almost wish I was the one held up.
Was Pierre here all day yesterday?
He was here in the morning, but things got busy, so I'm not sure if he was here the rest of the day. But I did hear that the highwaymen made off toward Ramsford Bridge after the hold-up.
I think I will ride over and check the bridge in Shepwood.
You are so brave. Take care, and let me know if you find any gentlemen bandits.
Ha ha ha. Merci, Kitty. Adieu.
Bonjour, Mademoiselle Darcy.
Bonjour, Monsieur Robuchier.
It has been my experience that highwaymen are not the only dangers to be faced when traveling in England.
Pray tell.
I had a most startling experience when traveling here from Overstone. It seems the trip is completely dependent on the whims of nature on the tides.
The tides?
Mais oui, it seems the coachmen have determined that racing across the Lancaster Sounds at low tide is the only way to make the journey. To accomplish this, the coachman burst into my bedroom at 5 in the morning, shouting, "Make haste, for God's sake, make haste." Having been roused from a sound sleep, I assumed the inn was on fire, or something equally dire. However, he continued with, "The tide is out. If you delay, we shall all be drowned." At this point, I could imagine the tide racing into my chambers and drowning us all. But no, it was simply that he wanted to take a shortcut across the Lancaster Sounds, which was only available at low tide. Mon Dieu! At this point, I'm not certain if French bandits would not be preferable to English coachmen.
Indeed. I believe both would be a disquieting experience. It does seem adventure follows you. Au revoir again.
Au revoir.
I want to see what can be found in Shepwood Forest. My dearest Jane, we received your letter today, and I wanted to let you know that Papa says thank you for getting the date for him. He needed the date as some questions have come up about the will of Mr. Lamley. It seems someone has been making inquiries about the time remaining for heirs to come forward. Everything is going well here. In many ways, I wish you had stayed, but I know how much you miss Pemberley. By the way, how is Clement's oppression? This question arises as before we left, Clement asked your father if we could have some of the paintings in the gallery changed for something fresh, lively to relieve his oppression. I don't know when I have been so diverted. Your father, of course, had no objection. However, I don't believe he was as amused as I. Papa and I both send our love, Mama. This is the inventory list of the paintings for the Mr. Lamley estate. Since Papa is the executor, those paintings should be here at Pemberley, either on display or stored in the attic. Why should Clement have this list? It should be with the other Mr. Lamley papers. This looks like the key to the attic. Why would Clement have this? This is set for today's date. I'd better write this down. I believe some of the paintings on this list were being displayed in the gallery. This is strange, even for Clement. I think I hear someone coming.
Yes, cousin?
Oh, never mind. 'Tis locked. We always keep the door to the attic locked. I have always loved exploring our attic. Oh, I love my old rocking horse. Let's have a look at these paintings. I'm quite curious why Clement is interested in them. That's interesting. Plaque is missing. 'Tis locked. This plaque must have fallen off one of the pictures. Isabella Lamley. I need to compare this carefully to make sure my suspicions are correct. I don't want to accuse Clement and be wrong. This looks the same as the one in the painting, but I should get back to the attic and compare them carefully to be sure. This is the same. Miss Allen's locket is the companion piece that makes the brooch in this painting complete. If only we had the locket, that would practically prove that Miss Allen is the granddaughter of Mr. Lamley. Meine Güte, that would mean that Mr. Radcliffe could marry Miss Allen and Clement would never receive the estate. So that is why Clement had the key to the attic. He must have known about the locket. I have a plan that could put an end to this, but I will need Mr. Radcliffe to help. Mr. Radcliffe, I'm so glad to find you here.
I've only just arrived, but I dare say you look very concerned.
I was on my way to find you, and suddenly, here you are. How fortunate! I have just discovered evidence that leads me to a most shocking conclusion, and it is so scandalous that I am afraid it will affect the entire family.
This is serious indeed.
If I am correct, our cousin Clement is intimately involved with the highwaymen, and may in fact be their leader.
Not the notorious Captain Mephisto?
Exactly! Clement has been sending notes to the highwaymen arranging for the hold-ups. His purpose all along was to steal Miss Allen's locket, which holds the key to her true identity. She is actually the granddaughter of Mr. Lamley.
Upon my word.
With her identity confirmed, Clement would lose everything. Miss Allen would inherit Mr. Lamley's estate, and you would be free to marry her.
But with Clement revealed, the stain on our family escutcheon will not be easily removed.
And yet we have no choice. I have a plan to catch the highwayman and allow us to confront Clement separately.
What is your plan?
Clement has been secreting his notes in the lantern to be picked up later by the highwayman. I am sure he plans to place a note there later today. If I intercept the note and replace it, we can foil their entire scheme.
That part sounds good.
My plan is to replace Clement's note with one telling the bandits to go to Shepwood Forest at 6, which is an hour before the usual time. You can be there lying in wait for them. That will leave us an hour to confront Clement at the location he specifies in his note.
That is a daring plan, and I believe it can work. I will be out arranging for a special welcoming committee for those highwaymen. As soon as we deal with them, I will come here and we will go to confront Clement.
Before Clement returns to the library, I will prepare our note. Then, all that remains is to intercept Clement's note and replace it with ours.
Take care. See you this evening.
Until this evening.
Did you ring, miss?
Yes, Martha. Will you have the groom ready my horse? I plan to do some riding.
Yes, miss.
I'll put the numbers in the note. This note looks perfect. Clement has not left his message yet. I don't want to run into Clement in case he is on his way here. I'd better hide. So this is Clement's note. Meine Güte, Clement has moved the time to 6. I'll never be able to find Mr. Radcliffe in time to let him know. My only hope is to ride to the mill and intercept Clement myself. Otherwise, he will know something is wrong, and we will never have proof. That must be the highwayman.
I told you!
That must be the highwayman. It's empty.
I told you! Nobody was here.
I was sure I saw someone in here.
It is obvious you were wrong. Let's get out of here.
Je l'ai, mes amis. Allons.
Oh, Miss Darcy, I'm not the one to spread tales, but have you heard about Miss Kitty?
No, what has happened?
I have just heard she has gone off to Scotland with the Frenchman staying at the inn.
Impossible! I believe that Kitty has too much sense for that. But again, she has been in a very romantic mood where Frenchmen are concerned recently.
If it is true, the innkeeper is going to be in a fret.
Yes, in consideration of the innkeeper, we should not repeat this to anyone until we know more.
Of course, miss.
Could you please have the groom ready midnight as quickly as possible?
Right away, miss.
I bet if you could talk, you could certainly tell me some stories, girl. Let's go, Midnight. It looks like I am here before Clement. This is perfect. When Clement sees you, Midnight, he will think the bandits are here waiting for him. I should find some place to hide. This is a great place to hide. Clement will never see me here. Now's my chance. If there were just some way I could block that door. Oh no, he got away. Now's my chance. If there were just some way I could block that door. I have you now. I know who you are, Captain Mephisto.
Ah, I knew if I was ever to be revealed, it would have to be by someone as clever as myself. But, my fair lady, I am afraid you do not have me, and you will never be able to prove that I am the infamous Captain Mephisto. I will be back to Pemberley before anyone is the wiser.
Not likely. I can ride faster than you any day.
Help! Help!
What's that?
Help me! Help me!
That sounds like Kitty.
Help! Help!
Where are you?
I'm over here. Is that you, Miss Darcy?
Yes. How did you get here?
The highwayman kidnapped me.
How are we going to get you out?
We have to hurry. A rat has been gnawing at the top of the rope, and it's fraying.
Yes, it is about to break. I can't pull you up. I need to find something to help. Oh no! Kitty! I've got you. These knots are too tight.
Can't you do anything about it? I can't feel my hands. Thank you so much. I didn't think anyone was going to find me.
I am so glad you are safe. What happened?
I went out to check on the stables, and the highwaymen were waiting there for me. They thought I had overheard them talking, and determined to take me hostage until they could talk to Captain Mephisto and decide what to do. I told them I'd heard nothing, but that made no difference, and they brought me here, and I was left as you found me.
Do you think you can ride?
Yes, I think so. How did you find me at the mill?
I was following a clue that I thought might lead me to Captain Mephisto.
It was lucky for me that the clue led you to the mill.
That was quite a fright you gave me. Fortunately, Mr. Radcliffe was headed out to deal with the highwaymen when I went to check out the mill. So I am sure you needn't worry about the highwaymen anymore.
That is such a relief. I am afraid I wouldn't have gotten a wink of sleep if I thought the highwaymen were still roaming about the countryside.
On that account, I think you can have no fear. Now I must be off to Pemberley.
I think that was the most exciting thing that has ever happened to me in my life. Again, thank you so much, and take care.
Adieu.
Where have you been? Clement is in the library. I expected to find him gone.
That is quite a story. I will fill you in on the way to the library. But what happened with the highwaymen?
We routed them quite handily and have driven them from the district. The men I have in pursuit will follow them all the way to the coast and assure that the highwaymen are on their way back to France. We need not their type in England.
An excellent solution. I believe my excursion has gone equally as well. But let's go see what Clement is up to, and I will fill you in on the way. And so as soon as I saw Kitty safely to the inn, I raced back here. And now we have the distasteful task of dealing with Clement.
Ah, how are my two favorite people? You are just in time to hear my most recent creation.
It won't do, Clement.
Whatever do you mean?
It means that we know everything. And not just what you revealed to me tonight at the mill.
Upon my honor, this is a surprise. I have been sitting here, calmly exercising my genius for poetry, and now I find myself accused by those whose opinion I value most in this world.
Your involvement with the highwaymen is now beyond question. We have used your messaging system to send your accomplices into a trap, and they are now at our mercy.
I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about.
We know about your code. We know about your messages left in the lantern. We know about your using the astrolabe to convey dates. We know you were at the holdup in Shepwood Forest. And most of all, we know why you have been involved.
Why ever would I be involved in such a scheme?
For the oldest of all reasons, greed.
Now I am at a loss.
You set up these highway robberies for one purpose, to act as a cover so that you could steal Miss Ellen's locket. I found the list of paintings belonging to Mr. Lamley's estate that you left on that desk. I also found the key to the attic that you left next to the list, and I know why you wanted them both.
Why would I care about a list of paintings or a key to the attic?
Because you knew that in the painting of Isabella Lamley you could clearly see her wearing Miss Ellen's locket.
What difference would that make?
You knew without the locket, any claim by Miss Ellen would be unsupported.
I still don't see why I should care about the locket.
The reason you would care, and care desperately, is that it would prove that Miss Ellen is the granddaughter of Mr. Lamley and the rightful heir to his estate. Not only that, but as a daughter of a gentleman, Mr. Radcliffe would be free to marry her. This removes any impediment that might have stood in the way of their union, which means, my dear cousin, that you will inherit nothing.
This is all very interesting conjecture, but we all know it could never be proven in court.
That may be true, but I could not help noticing that you keep glancing surreptitiously at your coat.
Why would I be looking at my own coat jacket, pray?
What do we have here? Is not this Miss Ellen's locket? And in your coat pocket.
That old thing? I really didn't know who it belonged to. I just found it about the grounds.
There's one thing about which you have not lied, and that is that this would be difficult to prove in court. But exposing it will undoubtedly cause a scandal, which will be both the ruin of you and bring discredit upon all our families. It is for this reason that I offer an alternative to disgrace.
An offer? For me? Why ever would I entertain an offer?
Because you clearly have no other choice, unless you prefer beggary as a profession. My offer is quite simple. You will agree to leave within the week to act as manager of our estate in India. Despite this incident, I know you to be a capable manager, and with time you might redeem yourself.
That is certainly gracious of you, and of all things considered, the change of climate just might be to my liking.
I will confirm all the details with Mr. Darcy, and will expect you to be prepared to leave for India within the week.
In that case, I have much to do, so I will take my leave of you, and may you have a good evening.
I cannot say I am not glad to see him go.
The offer we have made to him is more than he deserves.
If I remember correctly, Miss Allen said she would be in the courtyard this evening with her favorite book. Should we go to her, I believe I could show you something most interesting and resolve yet another mystery. Good evening, Miss Allen. I hope you are well.
Yes, quite well, thank you.
I am so pleased to see you. You make bright an otherwise disagreeable evening.
That is very kind of you, Mr. Radcliffe.
We also have a bit of a surprise for you. We have recovered your locket.
How could this be? I thought it was lost forever.
As we see, not quite forever. And I believe I may have one more surprise for both of you this evening, and one you will find most agreeable. As the locket is a companion piece to this brooch, which is part of the Mr. Lamley estate, I think we may reveal something interesting when we reunite them. Ah, just as I hoped.
What is that?
It is the marriage license for your parents, Miss Allen.
My parents?
Yes, your father was the son of Mr. Lamley, and your locket was the key to everything.
I don't deserve such happiness. Would anyone have imagined that things could end in this happy manner?
Jane, you are an angel.
I will leave you two, as I am sure you have many questions for each other. And that is the happy conclusion to the peril which could have affected so many lives. I'm so glad I found this journal. It is such a thrilling story about our family, and one I had never heard. Who would have thought that what I had always imagined was a simple letter opener would have such an exciting history? Oh, What's this? It looks like a letter. My dearest William, since I last wrote, all of the issues have been resolved to the satisfaction of everyone. You won't be surprised to hear that Clement has happily taken up residence on the plantation in India. He rather quickly discovered that this change of climate would definitely agree with his health and could quite possibly cure his fatigue. I am certain this new position is not quite so grand as that to which he so recently aspired, but I am sure it will work out the best for all concerned. Miss Allen has become the rather fashionable Miss Lamley, and yet is still as kind and cheerful as ever. Aunt Catherine and Miss Lamley are presently in London, where Aunt Catherine is directing her to all the finest warehouses. With Aunt Catherine's advice, she will certainly be one of the best-dressed young ladies in town. Not to mention, they will be selecting her trousseau and wedding clothes. Mr. Radcliffe could not be more pleased with the outcome. And to think, without the actions taken by Clement, we might never have made the discoveries that led to this remarkable resolution. I am quite afraid that Mr. Radcliffe and Miss Lamley are in danger of having the most elegant wedding this season, and being the happiest couple ever. You have no reason to have any anxiety on Miss Norton's account, as she and Pierre Boucher are in the process of planning their nuptials as well. It came as quite a surprise to everyone that Miss Norton and Mr. Boucher had met last summer in Paris and fallen in love. It was only the long-standing intentions of the Norton and Radcliffe families that she and Mr. Radcliffe marry which prevented her from making any commitments to Mr. Boucher. Once it became apparent that Mr. Radcliffe could marry Miss Lamley without jeopardizing his responsibilities, all obstacles were removed for everyone. Mr. Boucher has a large estate in Brittany, which he and Miss Norton will make their home, after spending some months at Norbury. This delightful decision will make it possible for us all to enjoy Michaelmas, Christmas, and the New Year together. I am afraid this will mean that Mr. Boucher will have to give up his plans of becoming a hermit, but I believe this will be no great loss for him as he gains Miss Norton. I remain your very affectionate sister, J. Darcy. What a charming find! A letter from one of my great-aunts to her brother William, who became one of my grandfathers. I will have to add this to my keepsakes. This has been a wonderful way to spend the evening, but now I have to begin packing for my trip to New Zealand. I can hardly wait to see Evelyn again, as we always have such great times together.